Welcome to the Fit Dads podcast. My name is Ryan Dutton. I'm joined by the man, as always, Mr. Brad Thompson. And we've got a confession, haven't we, mate? We have already recorded this episode once and didn't press record. I think I touched on it in the last episode with Dan Smith about how we did a full episode and gut-wrenchingly, none of it recorded. It was a horrible feeling, that, wasn't it?
Just me and you having a chinwag for
basically
45 minutes,
yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah,
horrible. Yeah, but
performative chinwag.
We're going to redo it, and this is the redo.
Yeah, this is it.
So it may be a little bit more concise. It may be a little bit more to the point. But we're going to try and expand our thoughts as openly and freely as we did on the first recording. But it's all about fitness watches, and we've got some stats around fitness watches. We've got some data usage stats, some demographics of who wears it. There's a study on over 160,000 people, so I'm going to give you some insights into that. The downsides of fitness watches, because there are quite a few.
Yeah. And
yeah, I guess just our personal experiences with fitness watches.
And I'm hoping my dad joke's going to land even better this second time round, right? So if anyone
are you going to tell the same one?
I'm going to tell one.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I've got it down here.
You ready for it? I can't actually remember what the health and fitness fact was. No,
okay.
Did you tell the health?
I did, mate.
Did you? Okay. I'm going to let you lead the way again.
I double dipped this week, didn't I? Mate, dad joke for you this week is, today I learned if you turn a canoe over, you can wear it as a hat because it's capsized.
I want to laugh. I've already heard it. It is a fantastic. I laughed horrendously.
The eye roll was worth it. The eye roll, the audible eye roll from R5 himself.
It's a good joke, that, but I've already heard it, so I can't laugh twice.
Not bothered. So if anyone does have any laughter, please send me a voice note of your laughter to make up for it. And then the health and fitness facts that I brought to the table the last time we did this, Ryan, was researchers have found a tipping point for video gaming and health, which is once gaming passes 10 hours a week, diet, sleep, and weight may start paying the price, which is it's quite interesting, which makes a lot of sense. It's that causation correlation again, isn't it? Where just because you play 10 hours worth of video games doesn't mean your health's going to be crap, but that's the trend typically.
I actually said this last time, but I think it's quite high, to be honest with you. I think 10 hours is doable for most kids. Like, what's that, a couple hours a night?
Yeah,
Monday
like
to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah. I think that's too bad, to be fair.
I still think that's quite conservative.
I do.
For most kids who want to come home from school, socialise, play a bit of Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever kids are doing. I
wonder what the actual stats are on how much kids game today.
That's a very, very good question. But yeah, with this one, study from Australia, 317 students from universities across Australia, average age 20 years old, and they basically split them up into, those categories. Low gamers, 0 to 5 hours a week, moderate 5 to 10, and then high gamers are 10 hours plus. So, but it does make a lot of sense, doesn't it? Where, you're not moving very much, you're probably not fueling yourself very great. If anything over 10 hours, there's, I don't know, I saw you went to National Video Game Museum in Sheffield, didn't you, a couple of weeks ago?
It's awesome, that place. Have you been?
I've not, but it's on my list.
It's really cool.
What was that? Who you stood next to? Sonic?
Sonic is a big, life-size action version of Sonic. Fair. And it's an awesome place. It was actually in Nottingham. I spoke to the owner when I was there. So it was in Nottingham, and they moved it to Sheffield.
Right.
Few reasons. More central location. Sheffield's actually got a bigger hub for gaming, so there is a big gaming company called Sumo Games in Sheffield. Do you know Sumo Games?
Yes, I know them very well.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
How come?
I know a few people who work for them.
I've had a client who worked for him, yeah. He used to tell me the hours were crazy.
Yeah,
like,
it's nuts.
Once a game's going out.
One of my contacts has got the coolest job in the world. He designs monsters for video games.
That is cool.
For Sumo.
Wow.
Which is pretty sick.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys really, I won't name him by name, but he wasn't the most well-nutritioned person, shall we say, living off a lot of instant noodles and not very good nutrition. He had one of those skins you can just tell was a bit grey. I didn't get a lot of nutrition. We obviously really went in there and revamped that, but it is really true what you say. If you don't look after yourself and you just eat this fast food stuff, it will really affect even the way you look. There's a look to gamers sometimes, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Interestingly. But back to this video game museum, yeah, it's got everything from, so it has like a bit of a wall where it goes right from like, you know, the 2020s right back to 1970 when the first games started coming out.
Okay.
And in each, almost like a cabinet, so each cabinet is a different decade. It goes from 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, 2010s.
Can we say noughties?
Noughties? Yeah, you can say noughties.
Feels a bit wanky, doesn't it?
It does, but it's the official name, I think.
The official. We've got to do better than that.
And it's really fascinating to go back through all, like, you know, the Atari to, like, the Nintendo 64 to, what was after that? It was, like...
Mega Drive, right?
Sega Mega Drive, and it was, like, the first PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, 3, 4, Xbox came around at some point in there, GameCubes were in there, the first... Nintendo
Switch.
Game Boys. Game Boys were in there.
I've jumped in.
Switches were then obviously after that. But yeah, it's fascinating to see how many variations and iterations of this there has been. And it's kind of one of those where they've got all the games set up on little tables. If you want to go and play those consoles, you can. You can play any console you want. The one thing that was a bit... I would have changed personally was you had to play whatever game was in there. And there was one game per console and you couldn't change it out. So... whatever game they put in was what you had to play. But I did get lost on Crash Bandicoot, I'm not going to lie, for about 35 minutes before Amy came and grabbed me by the neck and was like, come on, please look after your daughter. I've been falling around. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's amazingly addictive and reminds me how much of addictive personality I have got.
I might have told you before, that's Ted's nickname at athletics, Crash Bandicoot. Because if he's not doing something, he'll stand and he'll just like spin around. You know, like Crash Bandicoot when you let go of control. You can just see him like spin around and like try and do handstands and stuff.
It's the first like ADHD wolf funny, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And there's times where like I can see Ted just like dancing around whilst he's waiting to jump some hurdles, and I'm like, he gets in people's heads. That's what he started doing.
Even now, though, like the games, the graphics and stuff, I was quite surprised how good they were, to be fair, for back then. I remember Crash Bandicoot when it first came out, even like GoldenEye on Nintendo 64. I remember when I first played GoldenEye, and I remember the graphics being unreal. I was like, wow, this is lifelike.
Yeah.
And then I played it at the Nintendo offices with the National Game Museum.
Yep.
And I was like, this is bit bog standard, this, compared to what it is today.
I spoke to a mate of mine about Tomb Raider. And obviously, everyone knows Lara Croft Tomb Raider, you instantly think of Angelina Jolie.
Oh, yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
His point was, he says, I need not my Lara. No, what do you mean not your Lara? He says, when they release a film with triangle boobs, that'll be my Lara.
Why triangle boobs?
You don't remember first Tomb Raider?
No.
She literally had these like insane double E boobs that were just like pyramid pointy boobs.
Were they?
It was nuts.
Over the top.
Just honestly, so over the top. You can tell just these nerds have designed this game. Like, what does she need? Massive boobs,
triangular cones.
Yeah. What's she wearing? Not much. You can see, like, my mate's just like, I feel like they should do a proper film, just over the top cartoon.
There's a lot of that in gaming, isn't there? Like, you can tell it's been designed by geeks.
Yeah, you can.
Trying to think what else. The only other game really that I get addicted to is what's it called now? Like free roam games. I like free roam games, like GTA. I'm a sucker for GTA. I'm kind of glad the new one's not come out yet, because I know when it comes out, I might actually have to take a week off work.
Just get them over.
Yeah, I just get so into them. GTA is right up my street, where I can do missions. I can go and shoot a granny in the face if I want to. I can run over a kid. I can let out these dark, twisted fantasies.
I can't wait to clip this up.
Someone will.
Just remove any mention of GTA.
Yeah. But and Red Dead Redemption, I used to love that game. Yeah. That was really cool. I got lost in that for hours. That was my lockdown game.
Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead, yeah. I've got an Xbox down there, and I haven't been on it for years now. But you know, when like Amy's away for a day or a weekend or gone somewhere, I will just whip it out, which hasn't been the case for a long time now. But yeah, during lockdown, we had nothing to do. I was like, what am I going to do? So I just got my Xbox out. Yeah, free roam one. Everyone had told me Red Dead Redemption is really good. It's like a cowboy version of GTA.
Yeah.
So I got that and got lost. But yeah, if you're in Sheffield and you want to go and check out the National Video Game Museum, I highly recommend it. It's probably even worth travelling for if you're not too far away. Make a bit of a day of it over here.
Why not? Tons to do in Sheffield as well. Is it around the corner from Commune as well?
Yeah, it is.
Commune is good.
It's on just off High Street, and it's it's really cool. It's like, it's not even that expensive either. It's like 30 quid for me, Amy and Harlow, and you get 3 hours.
Oh, nice.
So
Right.
they've got 2 time spots, 10 till 1, and they've got 2 till 5, I think. So we went 2 till 5. And we literally just on the day was like, what do you want to do today? Google, as you do, Google search, what can you do with kids? That was one of the first things that came up. So, yeah, highly recommend.
I feel like I'd lose Ted for hours in there.
Yeah, you would. He's a bit older, isn't he? And he's a boy. Harlow got lost on there was that, what's it called now?
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero, yeah. But they had the drums, they had the bass guitar, had the normal guitar,
Right.
had a full, orchestra set up, basically. It was dead busy as well, we had to queue for it.
Fair.
And then when we got on it, we just, what did we play? We played, I played Ghostbusters.
Oh, nice.
Did Ghostbusters,
why
that was
not?
good. Yeah. Easy, of course. I'm not, no.
I feel like my mum's got her own national video game museum at her house.
Yeah,
So
from all that stuff.
Went down last week and got Game Boy Advance, my old Pokemon game on there. And I'm showing Ted, I'm like, this was my team, Ted. I beat Elite Four at least 20 times. He's like, whoa.
It means nothing to them, does it?
No, well, I mean, he's slowly getting it.
Is it? Yeah.
by choice, I'm not forcing him.
Right, should we get back onto some fitness watch stuff?
I feel like it's sort of linked to that as well. Like, how do we get these gamers to be aware of how much they move right?
Yeah.
Maybe fitness watches.
Well, maybe it is fitness watches, but there's some interesting stats. Do you want some usage stats of fitness watches? So, 53.7% of people globally report having used a fitness watch. 563 million smartwatch users worldwide. In the US, 44% of adults now use wearable health devices. That's over double since 2019. So in the last, let's call it 5-6 years, it's gone from 21% to 44%. That's huge, doubled. In the UK, a bit lower, 35% of British adults report owning or using a wearable device. Across both countries, only 47% though report using their device every single day. That's interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Only 47% actually wear it every day.
Yeah.
Whether that's some people just forget to put it on or don't actually use it all the time, which I thought was fascinating. I mean, I just use mine as my normal watch every day.
Just have it on, don't you?
Yeah. The demographic of wearable users, who's more likely to wear them and who's least likely to wear them. So younger adults aged 18 to 34 have the highest adoption rates. Some estimates say as high as 65% are using their trackers regularly. Obviously compared to 47% of all adults. Use tends to decline with age, so 50 plus adults less likely to use such technology. This is interesting actually. Higher income and education strongly correlate with tracker ownership. So if you've got a bit more dosh, you're more likely to wear one, which kind of makes sense. They're not the cheapest things, are they? Some of these high-end ones now, you can spend up to $1,000. I mean, I've been looking at a new Garmin myself, and there was a carbon-plated one. It was about $2,500.
Is this for speed optimization? It's carbon plated.
I don't know.
A watch,
I think it was for hardware. So it was called something like the Tactic, like the Garmin Tactic, and I think it was aimed at military personnel. Okay. If you go out on the kind of in the mud, it's getting bashed around, and it needs to be really hard wearing.
There's G-Shocks for that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I'll get into that.
A lot less expensive. Some surveys suggest that women are statistically more likely to wear trackers than men. Maybe that's because it's a fashion item, potentially.
That's really shocked me, that. Yeah, I'm really surprised by that, because when I think of watches, for some reason I think of just like men.
Yeah, but women are more likely to wear them. I think maybe women are slightly more health conscious than men. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's fair. How many blokes are pestered by the missus to be like, come on, love.
Yeah.
You need to sort yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. So, for those that wear them, what tends to change? Well, based on a study of 160,000 people, wearable users often take around 1,800 more steps a day. Users walk 40 minutes per day more, on average, after adopting a fitness watch. Moderate to vigorous exercise goes up by 5 to 10 minutes per day. Reductions in sedentary time due to reminders from the watch. We've all had that. I mean, I'm not sure. You won't get them from your G-Shock, but I do get them on mine. Like if I set, even during the podcast, right, if we're here for a good couple of hours, I'll get a little reminder on my watch, say, take a break, relax, stand up, go and move around. Improved psychological impact. This is interesting. So, small but statistically significant improvements in perceived physical health, a sense of accomplishment, a psychological well-being from wearing a fitness tracker compared with not wearing one. So, just the idea that people are wearing one makes them feel like I'm doing something healthier. And we know about the placebo effect. So is this kind of making things happen internally and making them feel more healthy? Whereas if you don't feel, you know you're not healthy and everything about your lifestyle is reminding you that, again, immune system starts to drop, things work less well metabolically. So the placebo effect of having a fitness watch, I think, shouldn't be underestimated.
I feel like I've got deja vu saying this because I definitely said this first time round. But by putting on a fitness watch, that doesn't instantly improve your health, as we both know, even though those stats are really, really interesting, like 40, quite loads more steps. Yeah, like tons more steps. And you look at that and you think, just from putting on a watch, but it makes sense if someone gets those little buzzers, if they've been made aware, if they are sedentary for a bit. Just that little prompt. And we used to have like a management philosophy, which is prompt, and then report. So if you're trying to implement something from a management point of view, you just keep prompting your team. Just like, listen, have we done this? Have we done this? Have we done this?
Yeah.
Then eventually you put in a reporting procedure. Same thing really that you're doing with your watch.
Absolutely. Sorry, go on. That leads me quite nicely into the next one. So fitness watch users are more conscious about other metrics, things like sleep, recovery, fitness scores, resulting generally in better long-term health.
Yeah.
Interestingly, body composition changes aren't amazing. Only 1 kilo loss on average for those that wear them, generally, from what's been reported. The greatest changes in body comparison were seen when, you guessed it, working with a healthcare professional. So when you combined, obviously, working with a fitness professional, healthcare professional, and you wear the watch, that's when the greatest benefits to body composition are seen. I think it's kind of makes sense, right? You can become more healthy, you can move more, but it's not going to stop you eating what you shouldn't be eating. I think that kind of stuff comes from guidance, accountability, alongside the watch. Most importantly, it keeps health and fitness in the forefront of users' minds. I think, again, that's come back to what you were saying. It is just that reminder every day that, just literally that motion of wake up in the morning and putting that watch on, you are setting something in motion for the day to say, I'm trying to be healthy today. Just wearing that watch. There was a stat, actually, that something like, I can't remember now, it was on this when I was pulling these stats up, something in the 70s. So 70% of wearable device users or smartwatch users say that the reason they wear their watch is for health reasons. So that's the overwhelming majority of wearing smartwatches for health reasons, right? So if you in the morning are putting that watch on, you're putting that little penny in the bank to say, right, today I want to be health conscious. And I think that alone is a big game changer and a massive reason as to why I think smartwatches overall are a good thing.
Because I feel like your stance has changed quite dramatically on these. And I think it shocks me when you did go down the route of wearing one. Which, just for the sake of the listener, what have you got at the moment?
I've got quite an old one. This is a hand-me-down, this.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a hand-me-down. It's called and when I tell people which model of Garmin this is, they go, I've never heard of that. That's how old it is. It's called a Vo2 SQ2 Music.
Okay.
And so the reason I really like this is for a few reasons. Number one, I can connect my headphones to it. I can load it up with music on my watch. I can leave my phone at home. I can go on my run. I can literally just press run, put my music on, and I don't have to have my phone jangling around, not distracted by that. I can glance at it. It can tell me what it's doing. Coming back to what we were saying about kind of me changing my stance, that all stems from me not wanting something to control me, basically. I have a real issue with things telling me what to do. And one thing I didn't want is it telling me when I'm too tired. I didn't want it telling me not to train on certain days. My biggest worry with watches, because I've got a lot of clients over the years who've used watches, and they'll come into sessions, as we know, and they'll say, I'm a bit tired today. My watch has said I should be resting. Maybe we have a bit of a gentle session today. And I'll go, okay, how do you feel? I feel all right. I don't feel too bad. Well, let's just crack on with a normal session, see how we get on. And if we have to taper it back because you're feeling that kind of intensity and not feeling as recovered, we will. So I was worried that it might get in my head a little bit, the same way it did with my clients, but it hasn't really. And there's probably more benefits, I would say, than not to having worn it. there's obviously an overwhelming amount of kind of studies to show that fitness watches generally, for the average person, are a net positive. They make you healthier, they make you move more, they make you more conscious of recovery, sleep, all the kind of different metrics when it comes to just being an optimal person and longevity of life, most importantly. But that's not my biggest concern. I generally think I'm quite conscious of those things anyway. My biggest thing is convenience. Convenience in tracking my workouts, my runs, the music. What else do I use it for? I guess that's probably the main things, really. It's just not having my phone on me.
Yeah.
We're all glued to the phone. Taking that away for certain moments of the day is great.
I feel like you've done a great job of customising that interface as well, rather than just getting stuck with it'll buzz if you've been sat down for half an hour.
Yeah.
It's like you could be doing check-ins and it buzzes and you're like, oh, come on, I've just done 20k. I've just been out in peaks and done a 20k. Don't tell me to get up and move, Garmin.
I'll be honest, I've not done the best at that because I did do a 30k the other week and I was literally in the car for 20 minutes on the way home, and as I was about to pull up at the house it went, "You've been sat down for too long." I'm like, mate, I've done about 25,000 steps before 8 o'clock. You know, I'm going to have a rest if you don't mind. But you can obviously customise it. The watch face as well is like, it's really good. Like on here I've just got the time, date, I've got my resting heart rate, how many steps I've done for the day, which I think for me is great as well. Not great today, only 2,000 by 12 o'clock. And how much obviously battery it's got left, which is great. And there's so much you can customise with them, but I'd say keep them simple. One of the things that I'd also experienced with clients is they've been on runs. And I'd said to them, look, you know, that run at the weekend, we said, really go for it. What happened? You know, were you not feeling amazing? You know, you kind of tapered back a little bit, your time wasn't as good. Talk me through that. And they'll go, yeah, well, I got to this point where my heart rate was really high. It got to like 180 beats a minute. And I just thought, I better take my foot off the gas. It's getting quite high. I said, could you have kept pushing though? Probably, but I just saw it and thought, I panicked a little bit. Take the heart rate off. Take any metrics off there during your runs, during your workouts that are going to distract you. Go off intuition. And I think actually when I first started wearing the watch, I fell into that trap a little bit. I've seen my heart rate quite high. In the last few runs I've done, especially this year, I've tried to just run intuitively and just run with the idea of like, right, if I want to run fast in this section, I will. If I want to run slower in this section, I will. If I have an intended run of going fast, you know, that's where I'm going to go. I've tried to be more intuitive. I think people are guided even during the workouts too much by their runs. I think when it comes to the performance aspect of fitness watches, too many people get put off by the numbers. Don't be afraid of that. If it's high, perfect. Some sessions you're going to push things a little bit.
I think it's great for retrospective data as well. So rather than letting that live data guide you, everything you've just said, I think the true power comes from the analysis afterwards, especially when it comes to tracking your runs, heart rate, HRV, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I've made a note of like the big hitters here, which from a budget standpoint, Fitbit, I know you can pick these up for really cheap now.
Yeah,
really cheap.
I mean, the cheapest ones like the little straps. And I think they were one of the first, weren't they? I feel like Fitbit were like almost like the OG.
Great name,
Fitbit.
Great Fitbit. Anything that rhymes. Like, what a sick name.
But they somehow dropped a bollock, didn't they? Really got outdone by the big guns like Garmin. Because Garmin weren't Garmin...
The SatNavs, aren't they?
They were SatNavs, yeah. They were SatNavs, and they got into like the fitness watch, and they were kind of for like hikers, I think, originally, and for like people who were doing endurance stuff. And then they've kind of become like, I think they've become the most reliable in the space.
I have to agree. From the people I've spoken to, like shout out to one of my clients, Jake. I think he's got like a Garmin Phoenix or something like that. And again, deja vu. He basically inputs and says, right, I want to do a 10k, leaves his front door, clicks 10k, and when he finishes his 10k, he'll be back at his front door. So it'll just map him out a route for him to follow that's exactly 10k. It'll adjust in live time. So if he goes off course of it, it'll auto correct. So regardless of where he goes, as long as he doesn't go full Forrest Gump and disappear, it'll bring him back to his door after 10k.
The technology in them now is phenomenally good. Like I said, mine's a bit of a hand-me-down, it's a bit of an older one. But I am looking at getting an updated one, and the updated one will definitely have some kind of GPS because, like I said, the tech in them's phenomenal. You can just literally put into your watch, find the 10k route near me. It'll search all the routes that have been done on Garmin, potentially on Strava as well. You can do this through the Strava app, and it can link it straight to your phone. It can tell you where to go, when to turn. It'll buzz at you. It's like your little guide and your little map on your wrist. It's for guys who are doing 10k plus. It's a phenomenal tool, and gives you ideas, because no one likes running the same routes all the time. If you want something a little bit different, yes, it's amazing for that.
It is great for it. And I mentioned talking about HRV as well, which, for anyone who's not sure what that is, heart rate variability. It's a fantastic gauge in a way. I suppose how hard you're working, how fit you are. There's certain metrics in there, isn't there, about, okay, how well rested are you? And you see this with Whoops. I'm not too sure. We don't speak about Whoop very much, do we?
No, Whoop's like a wearable, but is it a watch? I guess this is more. It's in that. It's a funny one, because it isn't technically a watch. I mean, you can't tell the time. That's what defines a watch, right?
No steps.
No,
don't even tell you steps.
But it's a fitness wearable, isn't it? Even FitBit, the OG FitBit that was the thing across the wrist, that would have a little mini screen telling you your steps and the time if you wanted to. Whoop was the first one where they were like, we're not going to mess around with any kind of screens. This is literally just linked to your phone. But again, I like the fact that that's one of the things for me that I like about a fitness watch. It's the fact that I can leave my phone at home. I can connect my music to it. I can just, be distant from this thing that I spend all day, every day on. With a Whoop, I feel like a lot of people will wear a Whoop and a watch. Why are we not just combining everything in the same thing? There's a lot of things online saying that Whoop's a lot more accurate in terms of its metrics and data, but I'm willing to take a little bit of a hit on that if it means that, I'm not having so many things on me. I'm not having a Whoop and a fitness watch and all these other bits.
I've just gone on the Whoop website now just to try and figure out, okay, how do you explain what you are? And do you know what, Ryan? It don't really.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm having to go around the houses a little bit. So if you were brand new to this website, you're like, I can see athletes, I can see people saying it's great. What the hell is it?
Yeah.
It's like anything with a membership, I always sort of think, I don't know, makes me query it. I'm like, is it a watch? Is it not a watch? It goes on your wrist, but you can't tell time. Again, I've semi-strong views on Whoop, if you like, because anything that's marketed somewhat heavily, I always think, okay, is that a good product, or has it just got billions thrown at it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's for anyone who is interested in Whoop. I know they do a lot of free trials. It's worth trying it out if you're intrigued. But if you are someone who's wanting an out-and-out fitness watch and you've never used one before, I don't know if you notice this a lot, where people try and spend their way out of problems.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Whereas if we know that those statistics you said earlier, you're much more likely to succeed in your health and fitness efforts, move more, if you get any sort of fitness watch. So maybe explore that avenue first, possibly. I just wanted a special mention, I suppose, to where fitness watches actually came from, if you'd be so kind to indulge me on that, Ryan. Essentially, it starts off with pedometers in 1960s, and obviously heart rate monitors arrive more 70s and 80s for more endurance athletes. And I suppose the modern wearables are when sensors became quite cheap, and tiny as well. I think when the sensors became really cheap and tiny, wearable, you can put them in your watch, obviously. Great way for gamifying as well. That seems to be a big explosion in fitness watches, where you can make it very, very, fun. There's like levels you can reach. There's achievements you can get from there, and just something you mentioned earlier: invisible habits made visible.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's fascinating to kind of see how that has evolved from a really simple pedometer to where it is now. It is cool, isn't it? I mean, to have some. I mean, it's almost like futuristic. If you told us as a kid that, like, at a certain point we were going to have something on our wrist that was going to tell us everything we need to know about health metrics, it was going to scan out, almost like scanning our body. Future age shit, right?
Big time.
I was speaking to a couple of clients who are big StarTrek fans, and they were talking about how much of Apple's products are all very closely related to like things that were on Star Trek.
Yeah, I see that.
The iPad. The iPad apparently was designed around these, and I'm not a big Star Trek fan, not Trekkie as they call them, but I've heard that these things, these iPads and watches and iPhones, were all based on things that were used in the movies and the shows.
Fair. I mean, yeah. I remember when the iPad and the iPhones first come out, and it it was a huge revelation, wasn't it? Like,
massive.
got rid of buttons. Remember, Blackberries were a thing. Did you have a Blackberry?
I never had a Blackberry. No, I wasn't cool enough for a Blackberry.
All right.
Do you remember another one? There was one called a Sidekick. Do you remember the Sidekick?
Sidekick?
Do you remember those?
No.
It was a really American thing. They didn't really take off over here, but all that celebrities in America had a Sidekick. It was like a phone, and it had like, imagine like a phone like this. But let's imagine when you were looking at it, you had on its side like that, and the phone would flip up like that, and it would swivel.
What? And it'd give a keyboard?
Yeah. So it was like a screen, and it'd swivel like 180 degrees or 360 degrees up, and it'd reveal a keyboard underneath. Type in a Sidekick. These things are really cool. Sidekick phone.
Sidekick phone. Right, let's have a look. I can't spell phone. Oh, wow. It's almost like we spoke about gaming earlier. It looks like a console.
Let's have a look.
I mean, it's a terrible
I haven't seen
image.
that. So that would, I think it would turn 360 degrees down. I'm sure it was.
That's pretty
It used
cool.
to spin. Yeah.
Whereas I had a Blackberry when I first started working, so I were a fucking loser. I just thought, I'm working now.
Yeah.
Here we go. I can't believe I used to text on that. Mate, look at the size. Look at that.
Yeah, that's actually a later variation. Did you see the earlier variation? I remember my dad.
Yeah.
I remember my dad having a Blackberry for work, and I remember all like the kind of cool rappers and like people having Blackberries. I remember my dad walked in when I was like, "Oh my god, Dad, you've got this cool thing that all the big shots that I like."
I found the exact one that I used to have.
Let's have a look.
Look at this. This is a Blackberry Bold.
The Blackberry. That's right.
9900. That's exactly one I used to have.
I even think there was an early one. Type in the first Blackberry.
First Blackberry.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to go primordial here. I'm just going to get loads of gardening things. What was the first Blackberry
phone?
Oh, what's it in that? First Blackberry phone. Sorry, everyone. It
was like, there wasn't any glass on it, I don't think. I think it was quite plasticky looking.
First, it looks like a calculator.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Oh,
I'm sure this is the one that my dad had.
Look at that.
That was more like it, yeah. I remember, I think my dad had that one.
Okay.
I think that's the one my dad had. Yeah.
That looks like a calculator. It looks like the first calculator.
Oh, no, it's that one. That was the one I remember. That's the one I remember.
Whoa,
Yeah.
zoom in.
That's the one.
That looks like... Wow.
And it is like, almost like it's like a you know like the advanced calculators you get, where there's a big screen at the top and all the buttons underneath. Yeah.
Wow. It does literally like a calculator.
Yeah.
Reminds me of being in maths, just spelling boobies.
I listened to a fantastic podcast once on Blackberries, and they were talking about the owners and how it all started, and they were like the most rogue characters you can imagine starting this company. I think there's actually, I'm sure there's a series about it on Netflix.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called.
I'll look at that.
Yeah, or was it a podcast? I think I've listened to both. I've unfortunately just clicked a button on my iPad and now it's gone into update mode.
That's fair, mate. That's fair.
I can't access some of the notes. So bear with me 1 second.
That's fine,
I'm going to go and grab my phone.
Of course, yeah. No.
All right, I'm back, and we're going to do the downsides of fitness watches.
Yes.
All right, because there's quite a few of these. There is, it's not plain sailing for everyone. People have different experiences with fitness watches. So let me talk you through some of the downsides. Anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
When health metrics aren't looking good, it can overwhelm people. There's a guilt involved for missing step counts, not closing exercise rings. There's a pressure associated with watches, the drive to do workouts when fatigued or run down. Compulsive behaviour, a need to continue hitting certain streaks of movement. I actually had a client recently who she's kind of taken her eye off the ball with her own fitness and training, and she says, for the last year, 2025, I wasn't really like exercising, wasn't training, but I did do one thing. She said, I've got this streak on my watch where I have to walk a mile every day.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only thing I've done in 2025 is every single day for 365 days, I've made sure I walked a mile. And I was like, that's it's quite compulsive.
Yeah,
but in a positive way. Like the only thing she did, and she's like, that's one of the reasons I think I've maintained some level of health and shape and not gone OTT on my body fat levels, is because I've maintained that streak. So I guess it's a compulsive behaviour, but again, it's all personal, isn't it? What's your compulsiveness like? Is it going to be a detriment or is it going to be a positive?
I just clicked on here. How many people walk 1 mile per day? Because I guarantee there's no definitive global count.
Right.
Thank you, Google. It's most adults in the US walk approximately 1.5 to 2.2 miles per day. But still, if that's something that you do religiously, you carve time out to do it.
Yeah.
I
thought it was quite good. Yeah. Loss of intuition, relying on data from watches to tell you how well rested you are, how good your sleep was, how ready for exercise you are, rather than feeling those things naturally. Orthosomnia, which is sleep tracking obsession. Some users report worse sleep quality after starting sleep tracking, worrying about sleep scores, increased arousal, poorer sleep, ironically trying to optimize sleep, but in turn making it worse. That's what's known as orthosomnia.
Do you wear your watch at night?
I don't know. Do you know what's funny? I've never, since I've been given this, I've never worn it at night once, apart from last night, because I just forgot. I was so tired. I got in bed, read my book, and I fell asleep. But weirdly, I didn't even track my sleep data. I don't know if it needs to do that over a few days or what, but I was like, that's the first day I've ever worn it at night. What was my sleep like? It gave me no data. So I'm none the wiser on my sleep. But generally, no, I don't wear it at night.
That's fair. I think from a downside perspective, it goes without saying that all of this is very, very subjective of your use of them, basically. And there's certain personality types who arguably are going to suffer with this more often than not. Obviously, we special mention to the team at SAIDA, South Yorkshire Eating Disorder Association, who really shine a light on orthorexia for us. These people who are very neurotic with what they eat in particular, but there's a lot of compulsive behaviours with exercise as well. And if you have that data there and it becomes a compulsion, I can imagine those sort of obsessive personalities. I mean, people normally back up by saying, well, there's worse things to be addicted to. And I back that. I get it. If it starts becoming troublesome for you and your relationships and your thought patterns, I know people who can't kick on with the day unless they have done 10,000 steps before 9 a.m. You know, and it becomes quite a troubling behaviour because it stops you just living in a certain way.
That's the only reason it becomes troubling. Like the girl, for example, who came here and she was like, she's doing a mile a day.
Yeah,
that was really good for her. Like that fitness watch and that streak was keeping her just having one grasp on her health and fitness. The issue is when it transfers over to stopping you doing things that you would normally do, and it starts controlling you a little bit rather than you controlling it. So if you've got to hit 10,000 steps a day and you've got this thing on a Saturday morning that you want to do with family and friends, but you're like, I can't because I need to go and do this thing that I always do every day. You're kind of sacrificing life and social events because of this. That's when it becomes unhealthy. But I think, do you know what? I think more people than would admit it walk that fine line between obsession and productivity with a fitness watch.
I think people who are very health conscious, yes, but I use this stat a lot, but there's so many people who don't take their health seriously. They don't even consider it. So there's probably a case to push that agenda a little bit more and make something like fitness watches, which, again, it's proven just from wearing one, makes you a little bit more aware, probably from your habits as well, because if you are someone who does move 2,000, 3,000 steps a day, you might look at that data and think, oh, I'm well behind. I had no idea that I did that. Just that added awareness can be such a benefit. But again, maybe people who should be cautious about it. I've put perfectionistic individuals, people who are maybe chasing that. There's something on the Apple Watches, which is close rings.
That's right.
I've known of people, jogging around the living room at night, just trying to close some movement rings. And I use that as a little barometer. If that is behaviour that you do quite a lot, maybe that's not too conducive to a healthy, long-lasting relationship with exercise.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because you could also flip that on its head and say, well, that's a positive because they're just trying to get the heart rate going and pushing things a little bit before bed, and maybe that just But again, it's how often are you doing that? How often is it interrupting everyday life and becoming more of an unmanageable habit rather than something that's a positive?
You've said it there, mate.
It's a real fine line, isn't it? I don't think it's as straightforward as we think, and I'm sure we've all done things on certain days to like do something just to tick a box, and you could say that's very, very, what's the right word? Neurotic. Yeah.
There's a saying which is when the when the metric becomes the measure, it ceases to become a suitable metric. So when all you chase is better metrics rather than better habits, we probably need to just not rein it in a bit, but just be aware, basically, because there's certain personality types who can suffer. But,
For sure.
But again, most people, it sounds like a huge benefit.
Yeah. There's one other negative at the bottom here that I wrote down, which is social comparison. As we know, a lot of these workouts that get recorded from your watch, so it's quite easy to go on there and record a walk, a run, a workout. They get updated and uploaded to things like Strava, for example, and other fitness tracking sites. This creates leaderboards, which can create social hierarchy and which can drive that little feeling of inadequacy sometimes. So I've definitely felt that before, where I've seen people going out and doing things and thought, oh God, they're really pushing at the moment. I need to pull my socks up a little bit here. Not really taking into account that I've just done like 3-4 weeks of really hard training. I've just had I did my high rocks, right? Trained a lot for that, the most recent event, and the week after I kind of planned on tapering it back a little bit, and I didn't. And I think a lot of that was because I'd seen some of the people online, they were finishing January really strong, and I was thinking, no, I want to go out and push it. Maybe I pushed a little bit too hard post high rocks the week after instead of recovering more because of that. So I do feel that myself sometimes, where there's that little social pressure to keep up with the Joneses almost on Strava.
And I think it's, there's a lot of benefits to obviously being made aware what's possible. Do you know what I mean? And not making it feel like it's within reach. Because I guarantee some of the people you follow, they're very aspirational people. There's people who maybe who also do high roxers, who are into the same stuff as you are. And it's aspirational, right? Yeah. But if that starts interfering with your plans, it can be bothersome. I know what you mean. But again, how motivating is it? I always ask this to people, if it works for you, do more of it. Yeah. If it becomes a problem and it starts interfering, let's think about it.
For sure. I follow a lot of athletes on there and people who just have, obviously it's their job, right? They're getting paid to do that. And I can't, my toxic trait is comparing myself to them. Is trying to run a few businesses, trying to look after a family and compete with athletes who get paid to do what they do. And I'm really bad at that. I'm just making myself feel bad for comparing myself to what athletes are doing. And there's a guy I follow online so I've been building my kilometres up every week, and I'm trying to get to about 50 kilometres a week. I'd love to be able to have that as a bit of a staple. It's quite tough all the time. Yeah. For me, if I can get 50 kilometres in a week, I've done really, really well. This guy in the whole of January did nearly 700 kilometres. And that's the kind of levels, and you're thinking, wow, that's some going, isn't it? I'm trying to work out, what is that per day?
I tried to work it out per week, and I think it's like 175.
Well, there's 31 days, so let's go 700 divided by 31 that's a half marathon a day.
No.
22.5 kilometres a day. That's insane, right?
That is nuts.
Insane.
I had a chat with a client last week about this, and they are a mum of 2. They have very high standards for themselves.
Okay.
And I asked them to just curate the newsfeed a little bit. And I'm like, look, what are you watching? Do you know, what pops up on your newsfeed? And the majority of things on her newsfeed were women in their early to late 20s, no family, paid athletes.
Okay.
And she's feeling crap from looking at what they're doing. And I'm like, look, anyone who tells you you've got the same 24 hours in a day and they don't have kids, I'm sorry, it's bollocks. Yeah, You don't. Anyone who has children, has a family, has a career, and you still want to keep fit, active, healthy, life's not the same. Life's not the same. So we had to have that pretty tough chat about, look, maybe it's time you do curate that a little bit, because this woman in particular, she's doing fantastic. Like, she's working really hard. She's very, very capable at what she does, but not quite that top level in her eyes. But it's like comparing apples to oranges, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, again, that's just inbuilt in someone. Some people with fitness stuff get quite obsessive and compulsive, and that's just maybe them in everything that they do. Some people are quite comparative in everything they do. I think I'm definitely in that category. I compare myself a lot. And those numbers are only increasing, but just be aware of these things when you get into fitness watches. Like, you know, swinging it back onto what the podcast is about. Fitness watches are meant for you, to benefit you, your health, your journey, where you're heading, get you to where you want to be quicker. I think when you start bringing too many other people into it, which we, you know, can't help but do sometimes, that's when it becomes that net negative. You know, we've mentioned all the amazing benefits and health aspects of a fitness watch. Focus on those, that have those as your kind of North Star when it comes to wearing that watch. We can't really do an episode on fitness watches either without talking about some of the inaccuracies, because there's a lot as well. And I do always question, like, how accurate is it? It's telling me I've burnt 500 calories in this session. Have I actually burnt that? Like, how accurate is that? Well, there was a landmark validation study testing multiple popular devices, found mean absolute percentage errors, also known as MAPE, and this ranged from 20 to 60% errors, which I thought was, wow, that's really high. 60% inaccurate for some devices.
It does check out, because, I mean, you see it on food labels as well, don't you? And again, I'm going off piece to come back again. But some food labels are 20% inaccuracies. Yeah. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I remember you telling me about, you did some sprints and you compared your Garmin to what the treadmill said.
Yep.
And the treadmills are, for some companies, designed to keep you on there for a little bit longer. So maybe they'll distort the figures a little bit to literally wear them down quicker, so these commercial gyms replace them. That's what we're up against, basically. So the inaccuracies are there for sure.
Yeah. Going back to that story, I did that recently. I did some sprints on a treadmill, and my Garmin said that I'd ran, I think it was about 0.8 of a kilometre less than what the treadmill had.
Okay.
The two weren't linked up, and I also think, how did the Garmin even know how far I'd run? Because I was on the spot, you know, GPS wise. I literally haven't moved.
Yeah.
So I guess to get it, you know, I think I'd run about 8.8 kilometres on the treadmill. It was saying I was closer to 8 on the Garmin. Okay. So it's not a million miles away.
It's not, and you'd have thought the treadmill in that case is probably more accurate. And
as I was doing my sprints as well, I could see that there was inaccuracies with the speed. So I was running at a 4-minute pace on the treadmill. 4 minutes per kilometre, by the way, not 4 minute mile. I think some like setting world records. And I think on my watch it was telling me I was a bit close to 4:30. So there was definitely inaccuracies for sure. Heart rate errors as well. The error range can be from 1 to 5 BPM at rest and 5 to 15 BPM during exercise. So during exercise it could be sometimes 15 beats per minute out, which is quite a lot. That's like if it's telling you're at 170, you're actually at 185. That's a completely different heart rate zone.
And even at rest, if you think if someone's got a resting heart rate of 75 compared to 60, that's a huge difference from a health perspective.
Just trying to look through some other things. So, slow total sleep time, 85 to 90% accurate. So there's a little bit of a 10-15% inaccuracy there with sleep. Sleep stages, so REM sleep, often accuracy ranges from less than 50 to 60%. I don't even want to know what my REM sleep is, you know.
Deep sleep for anyone who's
what is REM sleep? I've forgotten what that is.
Rapid eye movement.
Rapid eye movement. Yeah, think of the past that after having kids.
Yeah, that joke was lost on me, Ryan.
Was it? Yeah, I saw that.
I went very literal with that, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Let's have a look. Anything else? Vo2 Max. So this is quite an important metric for your. Do you know what Vo2 Max is?
Is it the measure of how... I should know this, mate. I teach PTs. Speaking of REM sleep, by the way, I'm very underslept.
Yeah, it's okay. Very don't worry, it's all good.
Vo2 Max is it how much... No, go on, mate.
I'll tell you what it is.
Go on, hit me with it.
Vo2 Max is how many millilitres of oxygen your body can uptake per kilo of body weight.
Tip of my tongue, mate.
Do you know, this is a really fascinating one actually. So the Vo2 Max was, the record for Vo2 Max was recently just broken as well. Do you know this?
I think I saw this on Insta. Is it a triathlete?
It was a triathlete. Is that right? Yeah.
Okay.
A Norwegian triathlete.
Okay.
So my Vo2 Max I think is about 58.
Okay.
So if you can get, I think generally 50 to 60 is pretty good. if you can get to 60, you're pretty. I think you're pretty relatively elite. There's only a handful of people that have ever been in the 80 range.
Okay.
There's even fewer that have been in the 90 range. The highest ever recorded was 97.5 by, I think it was like an 18 or 19-year-old Norwegian athlete.
Right.
He was quite young. And that's just been broken. So for the first time ever, someone's recorded a Vo2 Max score of 101.
Wow.
First person to break 100, and it was a Norwegian triathlete. I can't actually remember his name. It was some very Norwegian sounding bloke. Are you gonna Google that now? Let's pull him up. Let's give him some credit, because that is
Vo2 Max record.
Is a phenomenal achievement to get a Vo2 Max that high.
Is that right? One day ago, Kristian Blummenfelt.
That's exactly the guy. Yeah.
Go on, Kristian.
Yeah, I think is he in his 40s? I think he's not a spring chicken.
I need to have a look now. I really need to find this out. So,
but considering the other guy was obviously the 97.5 Norwegian, he was at 18, 19 when he set that. This guy, I'm sure, has been around in the triathlon circuit for a long time.
I don't. My laptop's just had an absolute fit now. Right, here we go. We got it. It is. Yeah. I think he's in his 40s. 40s.
That's
nuts. Go on, do it for the dads, mate.
Yeah,
let's go.
Go on, the fit dads.
Let's go.
So yeah, but it says here, fitness watches are generally 10 to 30% inaccurate when it comes to testing Vo2 Max, and I think it's like most things. I'm going to leave it there in terms of like inaccuracies, because there's a few other things. Actually, step count, that's one to mention. Steps is 3 to 10% inaccurate for walking and running. Distances can often be 5 to 15% based on GPS dependent, and they're kind of the main ones really. But again, I think with most things it tracks, it's all taking it with a pinch of salt. It's going to give you a rough idea of where you are, and I think it's good enough.
Yeah.
If you had to put a net positive or net negative on fitness watches, which camp do you lie in?
I've always stayed away from them personally, but for no other reason apart from I feel like I'm married to G-Shock. I've had a G-Shock since I first got into this industry. It's very nostalgic, and I just get into the habit of something that's really simple. So my function is simplicity. I don't want to be like flicking around or not being able to tell the time if my battery dies. That's a huge inconvenience for me. So I've always, just from my lifestyle, from what I do for work, always steered towards something a bit more physical. But I'm now doing less and less in-person stuff and more things digitally. I've got a funny feeling this year I will be a convert. So I can see a huge net positive to having them. And I keep coming back to that stat earlier, that causation correlation. If you have a fitness watch, you are so much more likely to make a positive change in your health. So I've got a funny feeling that'll maybe be me this year. You know, looking at a Garmin, I'd love one. So
Garmin's the best, mate. I think they are. The one of the reasons why is the battery life. People talk about Apple being not great, and I did have an Apple Watch years ago, and the same thing. I used to have to charge it every single day, and it wouldn't even last a full day sometimes. This one I can go a full week sometimes. Yeah,
mega.
So they've come on a long way, but I'm definitely in the camp now of them being a net positive. I think you have to be quite careful about your own personality. I think you have to be careful how you personalise it, and I would strongly encourage people to personalise it to what you need. But I think it makes you more aware and present with your exercise and health. I really think it does. So for me, it's a net positive. I think it's something everyone should look into.
Well said. And I think the key thing here is, just like any technology, you've got to make sure that you use technology and it doesn't end up using you.
Great way to put it, mate. I really like that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to the fitness watch episode?
No, just to probably ask you, mate, have you enjoyed this second time round?
I have, yeah. No, I wasn't sure about how it would go a second time round, but I think it was hopefully just as good as the first.
Yeah. Do you know what,
but we'll never know.
We'll never know. Do you know what, we're not actually far off the timestamps that we did first time round.
Oh, are we? Really? Okay.
On the beat almost as well.
Fascinating.
So for the listener, Ryan's... he's not had access to that information, but he's just subtly reached into my brain and seen it.
Was almost like it was meant to be until we find out this one didn't record.
I've just seen that red light over there.
We're soon about to find out. But as always, guys, thank you for joining us on the Fit Dads podcast. We're going to direct you towards the Instagram page. We are slowly building a nice following now of people interacting with us and, being able to share information and have some good conversations with. If you guys enjoyed the episodes, this one or any of the ones you've listened to, please drop us a review. that helps more than you can imagine, whether it's on Spotify or Apple. But until next time, we'll see you next one. See you soon.
See you soon.
My man.
Cheers, man.